Ugh.
Say that shit.
Woof.
Wait, what? Cheers.
We're back in the chair.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking it out. If you're still here, we are on episode 2 of season 2 of Amateur Intellectuals. I'm here with my Coco Kendall.
Hey, girl.
Hi, hon. And we are gonna just jump in. I got a fair amount of notes today, so we're gonna have fun with this one. Are you ready to laugh a little and roll your eyes a little bit, but like in a good way?
Yes, let's get fucking drunk.
Yeah, let's do it. I love everything about it. Okay, this is a Wednesday night
Right.
in 2021.
Hell.
Okay, so I'm just gonna jump in with the question. Okay.
Hi.
Okay. Tell me, I'm putting you on the spot, as we always do, so you can have a minute, should you need it. Tell me a joke or tell me a funny scene from a movie that you just like a lot. It can be a comedian's joke. It could be a movie, like, scene. It doesn't matter. Just something that sticks with you. And, like, if you saw it again right now, you'd laugh just as hard.
Shit. I'm like scanning it to make sure that it's like appropriate.
Oh my God. I had to do that so much in my notes, so thank you for saying that. Thank you for breaking the ice on that.
Yeah. Right off the top of my head, and like I quote it, I don't know, at once, not like weekly, but it's Cat Williams. He does a bit about Po Lil Tank Tank, and it's this.
I don't know that one. Tell me.
It's like I don't know if it's like Special Olympics or like Olympics. I don't know, but this guy, I think it's regular Olympics actually, and like he's had a leg amputated, and so he's got like the medal, you know, like racing thing. What's it called?
It's like the racing blade. It's like like a running. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes, exactly. And he just goes on a bit about how, you know, he like ran a race and won, and the officials were like, this is an unfair advantage. And Cat Williams is like, he doesn't, he's missing a leg. And you can just hear him now just walking down disappointed. Tank.
Oh no.
Oh, little tank. It's not even the best joke. It's not even like, I think he's fabulous. It's not even my favorite of his jokes. It's just the first one that, Paulo Tank.
Oh my God. That's really funny. So that's a brave joke. Like that's like a strong, and we talked a little bit about like style of comedy and like shock humor and like, let's hit the thing straight on and stuff. We're going to dive into that a little bit more, but for me, and like, I'm so embarrassed that this is my, I can't explain why it makes me laugh so hard. Like, I don't have a reason for it. It doesn't spark the part of my brain that's like, let me argue why this is just a sound funny thing. Like, I just laugh at it every time. And I'm like, not ashamed of it. It just is what it is. So I probably have told you this before, but it's in the movie What We Do in the Shadows, which is like my favorite movie ever. It's dumb humor, but I love it. So I love the setup of this so much, and it's often missed, which makes me love it even more because it's just so subtle. And I like the subtle humor that like you got to be next level paying attention in order to get. So the movie is, for people who don't know, it's a mockumentary about vampires in current day New Zealand. And early on, they mentioned that one of the vampires, Vladislav, played by Jermaine Clement, has had like a bad run-in with his nemesis, which we only know as the Beast. Like, that's all we know at this point is that the Beast is his nemesis. And they had a really big deal, like something situation. And so ever since then, Vlad has not been the same. So one example his friends give is that he used to be able to transform perfectly into any animal, but now he just never seems to get the faces right. So, fuck, I'm laughing already. So onward through the movie you go. You forget about the line because it's like many minutes later. It's like, okay, whatever. That's cool. Like I got that information. And then all of a sudden, in a very fast scene, there's like a potential victim that's running through the house trying to escape. And I'm not kidding. It's on screen for like a second and nothing more. There's a black cat with Jermaine Clement's face just hissing inside of a room. And then it's gone. It's over. Like you would miss it just as easily as you would see it. And I laugh every goddamn time.
It's amazing.
Every goddamn time. I loved how subtle that bit was. I love how far apart the visual punchline was from the setup.
Right.
Which we're going to talk about a little bit. But it was just so satisfying to my sense of humor. And it is every time. So anyway, mockumentaries in general are like that for me. Do you like mockumentaries?
I have to be in the mood. But then, yes. I have to be in the mood for documentaries too. So it's kind of, yes, I do like them. And so you told me about that and I watched that and that scene. You had told me about the scene. Or you like, I think you like hinted about it
so annoyingly before you even saw it. I was like, and then make sure that you watch this part.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it's along these lines. And absolutely hysterical. And that's the guy from Flight of the Conchords, who's one of the two.
Yeah.
Hysterical.
Good, exactly. Yes. I mean, and like Flight of the Conchords I watch and like it's hit and miss for me, but like when it hits, I'm just like, this is my happy place. I love it so much.
Well, see, and I didn't know it was a show. I just know it as the band. You thought they were
just a band?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Tenacious D too. It's like they were the little bit the other way. They didn't have a show. They had a band, but then they took it more of the comedy route and had like stand-up shows and stuff. But this is the opposite, I think, with Flight of the Conchords. They were a comedy show, I think. I don't fucking know. I'm talking out of my ass. And then they became like they had albums and stuff. I have songs on my playlist, on my Spotify playlist from them, Flight of the Conchords right now. Like right now, I have it on my playlist. Because they're good. Oh yes.
The pizza fat and the birds are on my back and I'm horny. Yeah.
And anyway, I'm gonna stop fangirling. The robot, whatever the fuck that robot song is.
The humans are dead. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, that's another one I quote. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting again, but I quoted this just the other day. I was like, there's this stupid song Flight of the Conchords singing, and they're like, a man is lying on the street, some punk has chopped off his head. I'm the only one who stops. I don't think I can see it actually because copyright law. To see if he's dead. And then he goes, turns out he's dead. Because,
Yeah. Oh, my God. Thank you. This is why we're friends, Kendall. I mean, one of 1,000 reasons. But
right.
It's just great. It's
fantastic.
Okay. So, yes, the episode today is about comedy. This is just going to glaze the surface. I'm barely going to scratch the surface here because this is such a big topic. You could go down so many different rabbit holes with this, like a lot of the topics we cover. But I'm just going to give you a little glossy, laminated one-pager.
All right. I love that.
We're going to do it. Okay. This brings me to the drink of the episode, and then I'm going to explain why I picked it.
Okay.
I feel like you'll know this, but I don't know. I'm curious because I like finding out new things about you. So let's see if this is one of them. Are you familiar with... I'm just going to say 2 words, and you'll know it if you know it, and you won't if you won't. Okay?
Okay. I feel like this is going to be
The Aristocrats.
Oh, the movie. No.
I mean, it is. It's a documentary.
Wait, did you say Aristocats?
Oh, no, not Aristocats. Ooh, very different. Very different. I don't think Aristocats is what you'd want to watch this theme. No, the Aristocrat. This is so fun, and I'm so excited. You might stop me if you've heard it, but okay, the recipe. Ingredients: you got 1.5 ounces red burgundy. Fancy. I don't have that in my house. I'm drinking red wine. 1 ounce strawberry syrup. Half Pimm's. Half Pimm's. It doesn't have a unit of measurement. I assume ounce, not half the bottle.
Half the bottle. Yep.
Half the bottle. Yeah.
Thank you.
Champagne. Also, no amount on this, but that's fine. And garnish, lemon twirl, or grated nutmeg. Okay.
Oh, shit. That sounds good.
It does sound good. It sounds really sugary. Combine all ingredients except for champagne ahead of time and chill in the refrigerator. Pour into a flute and top with champagne. Garnish with a lemon twirl or a scrape of nutmeg. Done. Sounds like a New Year's drink or something.
It's very celebratory, rich. Rich.
Yeah, and fancy. Okay, that was actually called the Aristocrat. Very different from what dirty, dark depths I'm about to take you to. So put your seatbelt on.
I love it down there.
Pray. Yeah. Like, we're not coming up for air. Here we go. There is a documentary, as I said, that breaks down what this is way better than how I'm going to explain it. It looks like, I looked it up just this afternoon, you can watch it on Amazon Prime for free, or you can rent it like anywhere, Google Play or iTunes or whatever it is, whatever you people on Apple do. I don't remember. And one of the producers of this podcast is Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller. Okay. So it was dedicated to Johnny Carson because it was said to be his favorite joke. Okay. The Aristocrats joke. Okay. Oh my God. I'm not going to do it because I would do it off air to you. I would say it to you the real way. I'm just going to explain what you do with it without actually saying it. And then off air, I can throw my jazz into it, my jazz improvisation. Okay. The point of this documentary is that it follows this really, really old, really famous joke that just circles around real comedians. Okay. It's just in the circles of real comedians. And it dates back to the vaudeville time. So while I'm sure the original joke was designed like as an actual joke, it's transformed into this really cool like comedian's plaything where they all try to top each other about how vulgar and offensive they get. And it's just like famous comedians doing this with other famous comedians. So the punchline's always the same. It's just quote, the Aristocrats. But the middle bit is always what changes. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, I think I'm into it.
Pray for me. God, I'm so sorry.
Listen up, okay. Jesus.
So the joke template goes something like this. Obviously it varies, but I'm just going to explain it to you so that you understand. A family walks into a talent agency and says they have an act. The agent says, okay, show me what you got. So this is the point at which the comedian who's telling the joke adds all kinds of crazy shit that's designed to go against the norms of that time. What's particularly offensive. It's supposed to be just this creative signature from the comedian of offensive stuff. So it can have anything from necrophilia, murder, cannibalism, incest, racism, sexism.
All of those combined, usually. Right.
Everything combined. Right. And as long as you want it to be. Like, again, it's like jazz. You just improv and you usually come up with it on the spot and it's usually terrible. So then you do that. And then the comedian says all his glory of whatever he's going to say. And then the agent, either appalled or interested, depending on the version that the people tell, says, okay, so what's this act called? And then the family answers in a big ta-da moment, the Aristocrats.
No way. It. I love that.
So there's a whole documentary on this. Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
This reminds me a little bit of our conversation about Dave Chappelle. So for those of you who are listening, do go back and listen because Kendall does a great job explaining Dave Chappelle's life and just style of comedy. But anyway, in that episode, you said that comedy is an art form and that your favorite type of this sort of art for you is sort of that shock value, push the limit sort of stuff. Is that fair that I'm transposing that correctly? Okay. Yeah, it's just what gets you. It's just the thing that you like a lot. It's intriguing to you. It's funny to you. Okay. So as we discussed then, for me, I tend to land a little bit more on the safe, boring side when it comes to stuff like that, that gets me laughing. But I will say I really do appreciate the anatomy of this Aristocrats idea. I like the idea that comedians just use it like Play-Doh and then they throw it out there and they put their own spin on it. Now, okay, for decades, because this started in vaudeville, which was, again, like, what is that, like the 1920s or 30s-ish? I think 30s. So for decades and decades, this joke was never written down because people aren't stupid.
Right.
And it was never shared publicly. It was kind of like a rite of passage with these comedians. Like, you're in the thing. It's like somebody gets to tell you it and explain it to you or whatever. And that just sounds kind of cool to me. So, and again, it's all a joke. I mean, you said it really well again in the Dave Chappelle episode. Like, back up. It's a joke. Nobody's making any like statements here. And if they are, they'll make it clear that they are. But anyway, Then Gilbert Gottfried brought attention to it at the roast of Hugh Hefner in public for the first time. And it was right after 9/11. It was like days after 9/11.
I didn't listen
to it.
I think I've seen
I didn't listen to it recently, but I think he had 9/11 jokes in there. Like days.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I every now and then go back and watch those. And
do you remember that one?
I think I just recently, because Gilbert Gottfried is the and
exactly with no words, you just noises, you just nailed him.
It's very grating. No, I'm positive. I can't remember what he said, but I remember being like, oof, okay.
Yeah.
Oof.
And that's the whole design of that joke.
Right.
It's designed that way among professionals of this craft. It's supposed to offend. It's supposed to go as hard-hitting creatively, but as hard-hitting and offensive as you possibly can for the norm of that time.
I love that.
And then as things get more offensive, you throw more offensive things in there.
Yeah.
So if it's a no-go zone, like don't touch that, it's too sensitive, that's all the more that they jump on it. Because it's the comedian's opportunity to gain that edge of this, like, hazing ritual or whatever it is. I mean, like, it's kind of, I just like the idea of it. It's just a cool, hazing isn't the right word, but it's just a cool, like, you're in the club, like, here you go.
Right. And like knowing that it's probably going to be bad, but just go, just like do it.
Yeah, it's even better. And then the other part of it is that it's like a song. It's like a song that everybody knows. You're improvising in the middle, but everybody knows that it's going to get to the end where you say, the Aristocrats.
Right.
And everybody knows that that's the end. So you're waiting for that mic to drop. Anyway.
I love it.
I love it too. And I don't care who knows it. I love it. Okay. So that's why our theme this evening is a very nice, fancy aristocrat. It is on an homage to that very weird, very unusual tradition. Okay, so now we're going to go... I know you're so surprised. We're going to go back to the oldest joke on record.
Where are we going, Caitlin?
I had to say it as quick as I could before you were like, I know. Okay. It dates back to 1900 years before Christ, 1900 BC.
Okay.
And do you want to have a guess what the topic of the first... So this was the first written joke. Obviously, people had senses of humor before that. They just didn't write it down, and it hasn't been... Or they did, and it hasn't been preserved. This is what we found. That's the earliest written joke, or documented joke. Do you want to have any kind of a guess about the topic about it?
It's about how Jesus isn't coming.
That would be Nostradamus comedy shit. Because... he's not coming, guys. It's a fart joke.
You're shitting
a fart
me.
Joke. I'm literally not shitting you. It is a fart joke.
It's just air.
Okay. It's from what's now modern day Iraq. And without further ado, I didn't write this. Quote. Something which has never occurred since time immemorable. Nope, I fucked that up. Since time immemorial. A young woman did not fart in her husband's lap.
What?
I'm sorry, I fucked that up. Let me say that again.
Okay.
Something which has never occurred since time immemorial. A young woman did not fart in her husband's lap. So they're saying, tale as old as time. It has always happened that a woman has farted in her husband's lap. That's it. The end. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll be here all week.
That's it.
Why is that the first one?
It can't be the best one. I just think, like, that's the one that was written on the right kind of parchment in a time-controlled room.
Hidden in a cave for us to find.
You know, the best don't usually make it. The best pottery, the whatever, don't usually make it through the test of time. I feel like the best joke didn't either. It was like, the plumbing system they found of the Romans was like the middle class. They didn't find like the fucking, king, like whatever, emperor toilet seat, right? I think truly, to keep with the toilet theme, I think this was just a middle class kind of yuck yuck like
Har.
joke between bros.
Har har.
Like, oh, ha ha ha. My wife farts in my lap, too.
Amazing. About a woman farting at that. Like.
In Iraq.
In Iraq. Like.
Okay. Anyway.
What are the odds? Wait.
I don't know. It surprised me. Like, when I saw the headline when I was doing my research, like, oldest joke, I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's going to be a sex joke. I just thought it was going to be a sex joke.
Yeah.
I just thought, like, oh, like, you know, making fun of the, you know, the ladies or the whatever, you know,
right.
usually.
Right.
It's still at a lady's expense. I wasn't that far off.
You're not that far off.
It was just more of a, and who knows that this isn't sexual? We don't have the context.
Well,
so
sitting in the lap, I mean, you could make, yeah.
Anyway.
It's just a shame because you know there were some better ones.
You know there was.
You just know it.
What happened to the funniest guy in the village and all of his jokes?
There was a Joan Rivers of the village, and her notes are just gone.
Oh, thank you. Her notes are gone. I love you. Okay. So, all right. There you go. You can keep that in your pocket.
Thanks. I don't think I will.
Give us a little fun fact about what the first joke that was written down was. Okay, that we found. Okay. So let's break down the anatomy of what makes like the core of a joke. What's a template for a joke? Well, you've got the setup. So here's an example. Oh, this is such a dad joke too. It's from Steve Martin, and I love Steve Martin, but he's got a lot of dad jokes, so I apologize in advance. You've got the setup. I gave my cat a bath the other day. He sat there, he enjoyed it, and it was fun for me too. And then you've got the punchline. The fur would stick to my tongue, but other than that, it was great.
Okay.
Kill me.
Okay.
Kill me. Dad jokes hurt me physically.
Yeah.
Although I like puns. Puns hurt people sometimes. Like I get people really pissed at me when I use puns sometimes. I like puns.
A pun is like using the definition of the word to make the joke.
To twist it, yeah.
Okay.
To play with the words.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm trying to think of an example, and naturally I'm blanking right now.
Right.
I have a friend, Miriam, if you're listening, who is the fucking pun master. She's the fucking pun sorceress.
The queen.
Oh, my God.
Is her last
All
name
day.
Williamson? Are you friends with Marianne Williamson?
No, but what if it was?
Girl.
One day you and I are going to find that person.
Girl.
We're going to be like, ah!
Did you see?
In common. No, it isn't. Why? Do you have a Miriam that's good with puns? Maybe it's a name thing.
No. Marianne Williamson is the chick, the crazy spiritual guru who ran for president.
Oh, no. No.
But there's like a TikTok out right now where she's like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, so I've got an idea. We're just going to need to restart human civilization as it is. And it just like...
naturally just blew up as a piece of shit dumpster fire.
Right.
As God intended.
I love this Miriam too. A punny queen. We stand a punny queen.
I like puns, but as I say, some people like really, really don't like it. It's like nails on a chalkboard, I found, because I like throwing jokes out. You know me. I throw jokes out like way more than is welcome, and people like it and they stick or they don't, and that's the way that it's good with me. It's a quick filter, but puns, man. Sometimes people like totally like my jokes or whatever, and then you throw a pun at them, and then they're like ready to like slap me.
Right.
But anyway, it's fine. Who doesn't love a good slap sometimes? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I told you like a joke is like the setup and the punchline. That's like bare bones. Some people say that a joke is a 3-parter. I think more bare bones is what I just said. But I think that there are jokes that depend on the 3-parter. So that's the setup, the premise, and the punchline. So that's obviously a true thing too. So look at the Aristocrats joke that I just said. You've got the setup. A family walks into a talent agency. The agent asks, what you got? The premise, blah, 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 racism, sexism, necrophilia on a trapeze or whatever. And then the punchline, the Aristocrats. That's a 3-parter. I love
that shit. Yes.
I'm telling you, watch the documentary.
I will.
It's definitely worth it. And when I was watching it, I was fascinated. And I was fascinated by just all the people that knew about it. Like they have so many cameos of comedians. And I was like, what the fuck, guys? Like,
how are y'all going to keep secrets from us?
You're keeping secrets from us.
Right.
God. So, okay. Yeah. So another example of just the setup punchline template. You've always left me satisfied and smiling. What's the punchline?
Yes. That's what she said.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Michael.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Kendall.
I was too excited. I like fucked up like the syntax. That's what she said.
No, it was perfect. I don't care. It was perfect. So that's another like bare bones, like just set up punchline. And so an interesting side note, punchline first came about in the early 1900s. So it was in a Wisconsin newspaper in 1912. It was called the Racing Journal News. Doesn't matter. Who cares? When a review of a play was written, and it said that it had a quote punch in every line. So they were trying to say it was really funny. It just got you, like it hit you. Like it was just so good. The New York Times then talked about punchlines the following year, and then it gained real traction. And before long, it was appearing in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, different Merriam.
A third Merriam for this episode.
A third Merriam in 1921, although that Merriam is the latest to the party because she is always behind the times.
For real.
Miss Merriam-Webster.
She had it before, and then, right. Interesting, 1900, Wisconsin. In Wisconsin.
1912. Yeah, a punch in every line. Like
they're inventing terms in Wisconsin in 1912.
I know. Who knew?
Who would it? Yeah. I'm blanking on the accent.
They invent things all the time. They invent words all the time. I mean, what's a cheese head? What's a cheese head?
Oh, that's Green Bay Packers is Wisconsin. Yeah, you're right. What the fuck is
cheese
that?
There? Is that what that is?
Well,
Greg's gonna fucking kill me because that's his.
Some of us.
That's his baseball team. Just kidding.
I like yours more. I was gonna say some of us prefer fudge, and then I don't like that joke actually.
See the Aristocrat. You just have to dial that up like 10 notches and throw some like really weird shit in there. It'll be good to go. Okay. Practice and get back to me.
Right. Now that I know. Yes.
Off air, we should.
Oh my God.
Riff.
Oof.
Like try to. I'm not doing that on air because I'm not recording that into eternity. Yeah. But man, I will try. I will improv like a fucking alto sax. Like.
I don't know that I'd be good at it. I would love to listen to it all day, though. I think
you have to watch it. You're gonna adore this doc, so get back to me after you watch it and just tell me what you think. You're gonna love every second of it because I did, and actually I should watch it again. I haven't watched it in a while. Okay, so another thing that you have to know if you're a comedian is something called jab lines. So according to Steve Martin, who did a masterclass on comedy.
Oh, work.
Again, he's got a lot of dad jokes because he's getting up there, but some of his movies are pretty fucking funny.
Oh, he's
a
legend.
His physical comedy is really, really good, and his sarcasm and stuff is really good. So
yeah, he's a legend. He's good.
I stand by him. Like if he was my dad, I would be proud.
Oh yeah,
proud as hell. Okay, the definition of a punchline, as we discussed, makes you think of a knockout punch. Like this is what Steve Martin says. So it's that final funny blow delivered in a joke. So whether you're writing a script or a stand-up routine, even though the punchline is a big deal, you should weave other funny moments throughout it before getting to the end.
Right.
So think about it if you're telling a story, right? You don't just tell a straight-laced story and then end it with the funny part, right? You're going along with the audience, as you're telling your story, and they're like, then this fucking thing happened. And then if that wasn't enough, right. You keep going and you keep dialing up the tension, right? A funny line during the course of telling a story is what is called a jab line. Jab lines are narrative comedy tools that build the humorous tension and set a comic pace and rhythm. So they elicit releases of laughter while propelling the joke forward toward that final punchline. So they're in your hand, like the audience, and you're weaving the story, but you're releasing their tension and their comic tension so that you can build and build and build more. And it gets the end punchline much more gratifying. It's like sex.
I was like, this is edging. This is just edging.
Yes.
But where did we cut the boxing terms, jab, 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 punch.
Good question. So I think what happened was punchline was because that
thing.
Wisconsin article was like a punch in every line.
Yeah.
They mean it like, wow, it was just like 1-2 punch. Like you didn't know what hit you and then you were laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it. And then because punch was already in existence and it was already a line, they were like, what can we say that isn't a punch line, but still has that same kind of metaphor or whatever? And so they said jab.
Good thinking.
Punch, jab, you know, touche, pierce, kick, whatever. They were like, I think jab. Jab's the best one.
Jab work? Isn't it? What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Works.
Okay. So what does comedy... I'm almost done. Kind of. What does comedy do for us psychologically? We already know all this stuff, but let's ask science. So science says humans start developing a sense of humor as early as 6 weeks old. When babies begin to laugh and smile in response to stimuli. I didn't know that. I thought that they were laughing, but I thought they all said like they're laughing, but you're not funny. Like it's not you. They're just doing it as a reflex.
Oh, really?
Or smiling at you. That's what I always thought.
Why would they try to take that joy? Why wouldn't they just let you have it? You know?
Why wouldn't they just let you have it? You're tired.
Just let you have it. It's fucking yours.
You're living for those smiles and those laughter moments to keep that baby alive.
Right.
Yeah. So it says also that laughter is universal across human cultures and even exists in some form of rats, chimps, and bonobos.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Could you imagine just a bonobo laughing at you?
I'm happy for them, though.
Me too. Good for you. Like other human emotions and expressions. Laughter and humor provide psychological scientists with rich resources for studying human psychology, ranging from the developmental underpinnings of language to the neuroscience and social perception. So they're just saying laughter can tell a lot about a person and a lot about human behavior, from just how developed you are, like your brain, how developed you are, and just all the way to how socially aware you are. And just, I mean, your neurons, like how your brain's operating. Okay. What is laughter doing for us? Thank you, comedy, for giving laughter to us. It actually activates a lot of areas in the brain, which we know: control, motor, emotional, cognitive, and social processing. So laughter's physical power. One of the things in this article said, you build strong upper body muscles. I was like, shut up. I'm not putting that in there. I mean, I obviously just did, but I was like, I'm not putting that in there. That's not why, like, oh, I better get some abs. Like, somebody tell me something funny. I better watch some stand up.
Okay. Paint me triggered. But what happened when I was in college? And like, okay, honestly, swear to God, I hate talking about this shit because like I sound like an arrogant asshole, which I somewhat am, but like not to this extent.
No, please.
I played golf in high school. I didn't eat. I ate like once a day. I just well, now I do, clearly. But
no, and you were little late into the game. We talked about it in the puberty episode.
That's true. So I didn't know. And like looking back, I'm like, fuck, I have like I have like a 5-pack. Like I wouldn't call it a 6-pack, but like it's more than 4. And like I just didn't know. And I had a roommate that was 6'8". And if you're that big, building muscle, like he was like so incredibly strong, but his muscles are so long.
One ab is like all 5 of your abs in height.
Yeah, exactly. So like his biceps, like my biceps were bigger than his biceps, but it's because his biceps were 3 feet long and mine were 6 inches long. And so they just like, they look, whereas his just look scrawny. But he's incredibly strong.
How was that for you? I built a 5-pack and I didn't understand what was happening.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. He was so convinced that I can't remember now. Now I'm fucking it up and getting red-faced because I think it was actually me that was like, I get these from laughing, which makes me sound, I think I was trying to be like, I don't work out. It's not like, don't think that I'm like one of those like fucking gym junkies.
Where did these come from?
Right. It's just because I'm so fucking happy that I just have a great body because I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, any way I slice it at this point, it's terrible. But
listen, that is excellent DNA. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Number one.
And where the fuck did it go?
I mean, it's in there. I'm sure it's in there. Like, I never had a six-pack. I had, at the best of my life, I had the 2 lines. So I had, like, the lines down the side. I mean, not anymore. I mean, I don't know where they went. But that was all I ever had. I have never, I mean, I knew a girl in college that had a 6-pack, like a genuine 6-pack. And I was like, I just want to not be weird, but like, I just want to like take a picture of it and put it on my wall. Just look at it all the time.
In the fridge? Yeah. My mom used to put pictures like that in the fridge. Oh, it's doing its damn thing. I even tested it today, Caitlin, and it didn't do that.
She's just telling you who's boss. That's what's happening.
And she's back. Yeah. I read about it. It's the way that the data is getting transferred to the card. The card sometimes gets bogged down, and so it like resets itself just for a second. So
that's okay.
Sorry,
don't worry
guys.
about it. It was easy to edit because you gave me such a pretty package. But as long as you like are quick to turn it back on, like don't worry, it shouldn't be a lot of trouble at all.
Here's to hoping.
Yes. So yay for you and your body. None of us are jealous here.
Gone.
We all support you and think that you are great.
Well, no. I mean, it's been years. Hold on. Give me a pause here. Where are we? 36:52. I'll take care of this in the audio. 36:52. Why are you doing that again? Let me just watch it. There's no way that it's like if I move more, it's more data, right? It should be just the same amount of data regardless. That's what I'm thinking. $35, $52. Yeah, so it's all there.
I'm just testing my sound super quick because I'm noticing that my my voice bars are super loud because I'm probably super loud.
Scream it, girl.
So I'm just gonna fix that just a skosh.
I'm gonna take that off and just see what happens. I don't think I need that. I don't need Pro Tune. I can do any of that after. I also don't need that. I'm gonna kill it. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill it. Okay. Let's get it out of shot. What does that say? 3?
You can see the red wine stains on my lips.
I got this new color from the QVC. What is that? Oh, it's that damn thing right there. Okay. Let's see what happens. I think that, I mean, I'm recording again, so
I can't
36:52.
hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. You can't hear me?
I don't hear you. Mm-mm.
Am I on mute?
Wait. Try now. Oh, it was totally me.
I was
Hello.
like, oh shit, I did not do that. 39.
You can't trust me to do anything. Like, you gotta, like, babysit me while you're fixing your own tech, because I'm gonna ruin something.
Because then I'm just gonna start pushing buttons.
For fuck's sake. God, Caitlin. Okay.
So,
yeah, it looks
if
good.
you go to our YouTube channel, you'll get unfiltered content to where you'll just see us figuring that shit out for the last 3 minutes.
That's right. You're gonna get us learning in progress. Watch us get better over time. Okay. So, we know this already, by activating the neural pathways of emotions like joy and mirth, laughter can improve your mood and make your physical and emotional response to stress less intense. So, for example, laughing may help control brain levels of the neurotransmitter serotonin, similar to what antidepressants do. So it's an antidepressant to laugh. A natural one. By minimizing your brain's responses to threats, it limits the release of neurotransmitters and hormones like cortisol that can wear down your cardiovascular, metabolic, and immune systems over time. So, in other words, laughter is like an antidote to stress, which stress weakens these symptoms and increases your vulnerability to diseases. So you're literally fighting off disease by laughing, which, Kendall, you and I are going to live for fucking ever.
Forever.
Okay.
Forever.
And we're going to be gorgeous, like death becomes her. We're going to have spray paint, and we're going to take care of each other and everything.
If I weren't drinking so goddamn much, or smoking these cigarettes, or eating this fast food.
I grew up in an Irish family, and like, you just don't know, okay? It's just the lottery. Sometimes you get the people who are super cautious and healthy, and
true.
they die young, and then you've got the ones that you're like, what are you doing to your like garbage can body? Right. And then they live until they're 104.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
That's right.
So you may as well have your glass of Aristocrat.
That's right. Hey, come on. That's a callback. That is a callback.
Mm-hmm. That is right. So, okay. I put this in my notes in bold. A good sense of humor and the laughter that follows depends on an ample measure of social intelligence and working memory resources. This has to do with your cognitive powers. So if your brain is fast, like, you're funny generally.
Okay.
So again, a good sense of humor and the laughter that follows depends on an ample measure. So if you say something and it hits, like you're really funny and people laugh at it, it shows that you have a good sense of social intelligence and your working memory resources. You've got a sharp memory because you can play off of people's social cues and whatever and twist the story. Okay, not to toot my own horn here, but fucking toot. I said this very thing in a past episode with you, and I feel like it was Dave Chappelle. I don't know why I'm so angry. I'm just justified. Do you remember I said you have to be able to see a situation and be able to distort it just enough into something funny without going too far so people don't get it. It was in response to that girl that you said was listening to our podcast and then was like, this might be too much for her because we might be making jokes about things that are off limits. Like, it might be too much. I think like we were talking about politics maybe. So maybe it wasn't Dave Chappelle. You're like, I don't know that she's going to keep listening to us.
Oh, that was Christmas. Yeah, I say
Christmas.
Her about.
You're right, it was Christmas because it was religion. Mm-hmm. We were talking about religion and big Jesus.
Right. I say
You're
her
right.
about.
I'm sorry.
So that's actually a guy.
Sharp memory resources right here. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember. I was like, what female would have told me that?
We're like, you and me both are like, okay, how many people told us they were going to listen and then stop listening?
And then not going to.
8, got offended, 9, 10.
How many people have I pissed off so far?
Oh my God. 20. Yeah, no, same. Okay. But no, that's what science is saying. And that's exactly what I said. I get so few wins. Like, that was what I said.
Years ago, though. I mean, like, you said that. Yeah, that's been a big part of your, like, the way that you talk about, like, wit and stuff. It's like, wit is just so obviously a measuring tool for smarts.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I agree. And I think, I believe in this. Like, if there's a religion, I believe in comedy. I believe in it for therapy. I believe in it for, stress. Stress relief. I believe in it for relationships. Greg and I laugh every day at each other, every single day at each other. I think that's what's going to get us from teens when we dated to my 40s when I die from alcohol poisoning. Or if fate will have it, at 104.
Just down the road. Right. No, I agree with that.
Maybe somewhere in between. Who cares? We'll worry about that day when it comes.
Right.
Okay. Sorry. I was
May
super
she be
proud of
far,
that when I
far
read that.
away.
I was like, no, I will not let that go.
I'm glad you
Because I'm
didn't.
graceful.
I'm glad you didn't.
So-
On that note, though, hold on real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
I don't know if you remember Anne Lamott, who I briefly mentioned in one of
The
them.
Brene episode.
Brene, yes.
Yep.
Anne Lamott calls. Now, mind you, she's religious, so like you can use it in that scope if you want. I prefer to take it out of that scope.
Forgive her. It's fine. I'm kidding. It's fine.
I didn't hear it. What was it? Was it good?
I said I'll forgive her.
That's
I'm
right.
just kidding.
Yeah. Peace be with me. And she says she calls laughter carbonated holiness, and I'm like, very that.
Yeah.
Very that.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing that can connect you with another person, disarm you with another person, like lower your stress faster. Like, I don't know of a thing that's why I believe in it so much. And that's why anybody who knows me knows that I lead pretty fucking strong with my comedy foot.
Lead the fucking two. That's
listen,
right.
Some people don't like that, but you know what? I'm busy laughing.
Come
okay?
on.
Put it in an inspirational poster. Okay. Okay. So, laughter, like humor, typically sparks from recognizing the incongruities or absurdities of a situation. You need to mentally resolve the surprising behavior or event, otherwise you won't laugh. So you have to pull out the funny from a serious situation. You might just be confused instead if you're not able and your brain's not able to get it, went over your head, right?
Right.
So inferring the intentions of others and taking their perspective can enhance the intensity of the laughter and amusement you feel. So you've got to be really aware of the people that you're with. You don't just throw jokes out there because people do, and then they hit and miss, right? But if you really are a good, funny person, you're sensitive to your audience and you understand, and your audience can be your significant other, your mother, it doesn't matter. But just if you are aware of what makes them laugh, you've been clocking all that, and you're going to translate the situation in a way that you know is going to make them laugh. And then you win. You're feeding yourself. I mean, you're just making them laugh, and then you're happy because you get what you wanted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And
so do they.
On its face, I was like, well, how do you do that? How would you do that in an audience? But then I was like, the audience that shows up for a roast is going to be different from the audience. Stereotypically, generally, like you would be able to decipher the differences in that crowd versus like an Ellen DeGeneres crowd, like just by buying the ticket, you would know.
That's right. And for a personal, like a private person,
right, you
can chameleon yourself. So my sense of humor with my husband is very different. No, it isn't. From my sense of humor with my mom, hypothetically. Well, okay. Which is different than my sense of humor with certain people at work that aren't in my inner circle.
Right.
Like I can change my gauge on where I think it's going to be. And we all do that. And we're really good. Comedians, on the other hand, I believe, have to really look inward, which a lot of them don't like doing because they're funny in the first place because they're like broken, fragile people. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that in like a good for you, like way to find your way.
Right.
But they have to really look inward and figure out who they are and what they want their comedy to be, because they can't be all things for all people. And most of them want to be, because that's why they're good at comedy.
Right. Yeah.
So they have to find their place about where do I want to go? Because I can't take all paths for all people, because then I'll be a hypocrite. I'll be saying one thing and then I'll be contradicting myself over here. So I got to make sure that I pick a path and I figure out where I'm going. And I think a lot of comedians struggle with that journey because it's hard to be fucking introspective.
Absolutely. There's Joan Rivers' documentary. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it now off the top of my head. I just recently watched it a couple weeks ago, and she like struggled with that so hard. Like she went from like nothing to like crazy legend to canceled from NBC to back on NBC to, and just all over the place. And I listened to Bad Friends podcast, which is Bobby Lee and Santino Rice.
The ginger. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It's Bobby Lee and that other fuck. And And like it's very obvious that they struggle with that. Like, and it's pretty like out loud. And they're like, we're in LA and like we do this like kind of a lot and kind of not, but the intensity with which they're like, am I even good at this? Constantly is pretty surprising.
It's hard. I think it takes a real craftsman, right? It's one thing to sing a song at a birthday party. It's another thing to professionally sing. Like, it's the same thing.
It's
right?
the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So comedy is the same thing. When you're just dicking around and you're having fun with people,
right? And
you're good at it, and people are feeding you and telling you you're talented. That's one thing that can give you certain happiness and whatever. When you do it for a living and you're paid for it, like that's got to be a hard road. Okay, really random. A psychic. I went to a psychic one time, and have you ever been to a psychic before?
Never, and I need to.
Do you want to? Because we could totally do that.
Shit, can we do it together?
And we'll make that one of our activities when you come.
Oh my God.
When you come to us.
We can record that.
Let's do it. Oh my God. We're going to make fun of the shit out of it. But let's do it. Okay. But yeah, so I do it for fun. I just think it's fun. I don't take it seriously. Like, it doesn't matter if I do, but I don't. Like, it's just super fun. I like it. It's introspective and it's fun and I like it. And I like comparing what they're getting and what they aren't getting. And I don't feed them a lot of information or whatever. Anyway, I went to a psychic one time. And I came into the room and I sat down and she like went, and I booked it that morning. So, I mean, she could have, I guess, had time to look me up or whatever, but I only gave her my first name. So, you know, whatever, leave it where you want. She goes, you could have been a comedian. And so I was like, because then I was like, I'm just such a fucking mess. I saw that as an opportunity to fuck with her. So I was like, people don't usually tell me that. Like, people tell me that I'm really off-putting and my sense of humor is really off.
No way.
She was like, I don't understand why they would say that. Because, like, you're really funny. And then she was like, you're really funny. Yeah.
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 And she like, yeah. And she like, she dug into it. She held on to it.
She was like, gotcha. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a super funny thing at the time, but it was just like, oh, damn. Like, so anyway, but my point is I would never, ever, 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 I am too thin skinned. You have to have rhino skin.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to, mix with armadillo armor.
Yeah. And stand up is a completely different thing. Like stand up is like impossible. And there's so many comedians that are so terrible at stand-up, and then vice versa. So many stand-ups that can't do fucking, act or skit comedy. And it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
It's its
I think
own
that stand-up,
animal, isn't it?
Do I?
Yes. So I respect comedians a lot, even if I don't like their humor. Like, I really respect how hard cognitively they have to keep up. This is not just going into work every day and typing on a computer. Like, you have to be ahead of everyone all the time.
Constantly.
And you're their jester. You have to make them laugh. Make me laugh. If you run into somebody on the street and you're a comedian and you're famous, like, they expect you. They're entitled. They expect you to make me laugh. Make me laugh. You can't be having a bad day or just want to sip your coffee quietly. Like, make me laugh.
You on call.
And that's unfair, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that life. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I was a comedian, I would do it like Sia, and I would wear a giant fucking wig.
That would be fun.
So nobody knew my face.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
To be like a mystery. What's that called when you do it like with a book? I'm an idiot.
Oh, like it's like anonymous. It's like
Q
like
anonymous?
like a ghostwriter.
Ghostwriter.
Yeah, I would hide that shit, and I would. I don't even, you know what? I wouldn't even go out on stage. I would like do the gorillas thing and just have like a cartoon of me just standing up there so that nobody knew who I was. And then I could go to Starbucks and not have to give a shit about putting makeup on.
And if I bomb, I bomb, and fuck you. You don't know who I am.
That's right. You don't know who I am. Yeah. Like, if I don't get any laughs, I can just go home in the middle of it. You don't know me. Okay, this wasn't for me. Bye. Anyway. Okay. So. Yes. So now there's the social element of laughing and of comedy. So you don't even need to hear a laugh to be able to laugh. So deaf signers punctuate their signed sentences with laughter, much like emoticons in written text. So you can laugh and not physically laugh. I mean, I do that all the time with texts, all the time. I laugh on the inside. That's what I call it. I'm laughing on the inside. I exclaim with laughter unless it's something really, really, really good, which sometimes it is. But otherwise, I'm like, oh, this is really funny. Like all the chemicals are in my brain. I feel them happening.
Right. I've never thought of that.
But I don't exclaim with laughter. Like Greg's not like, what's so funny? Like, what are you laughing at? Because I'm not even giggling. I'm just inside laughing. Inside laugh. Do you have an inside laugh?
Inside laugh. I do. There's a spider. Do you see that? It's just floating.
I'm so glad we're filming
what in the
video with this.
Oh, now it's alive. I thought it was just like dead floating.
No, it was alive. He was crawling and waving at me. And he was panning left on the camera and waving at me.
Do I live in the fucking Rainforest Cafe? Why is it always a bug? Get out. Is it attached to me? No. Okay, it's on the floor
I don't think we were recording video, but you had that really pretty bug that one time.
Oh, and it's dead. Yeah, it's here. It's still here. I noticed it today when I was setting up camera.
Yeah, I killed it.
Because it was like tucked behind my computer. That's it, Dad.
Oh, you're just keeping him as a trophy.
I didn't know. No, I didn't know he was there. I moved something and he came out. And I was like, fuck, it seems like I don't clean my house. Listen,
he was beautiful. Which he still is.
He is. Oh, yeah, he's gorgeous, but he's dead. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's okay. He lived a very beautiful life.
Not in here, he didn't.
Fast and hard. Okay, sorry. No, I did see that spider. It's going to be a very funny visual on your screen, I'm sure. So, wait, I don't know. It'll have to be on your other camera because
right, and I don't know that it was in front of that ever.
The one in front of you, I don't think caught it because he was hanging on it. He was bungee jumping off of it.
I think he was right in between, but we'll give it a shot.
I have critters too. It's okay. You know, if it makes you feel any better, I have a mouse hole in this closet.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. No, we heard critters in the wall, and Greg thought I was fucking crazy. Because one time I thought I heard a critter in the wall, and it was rain outside.
Oh, and so he's always like, that's the rain.
So he was like, no, it's fine. It's nothing. I'm like, So I waited until it made that noise again, and then I dragged his ass downstairs, and I was like, listen, I will be vindicated. And then I found when I was painting and like getting this whole thing going, I saw a little mouse hole, and I was like, oh, hey, bud.
There we are.
And then Greg found... It was a little baby.
Aww.
He found it in a little sticky trap.
Yeah.
He
got stuck.
Was also young. He died in the prime of his life.
Yeah.
So
it's
don't
tough.
worry. You just have spiders and little cute bugs that you can put in a little terrarium. I have mice.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. It's a weird. Yeah. No, I get it. I've been there.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Get the fuck.
Critters.
You can live anywhere in the world, but here.
This is my house.
I live in a little like boutique apartment, and my upstairs neighbor asked me about.
Don't say cockroaches.
The dog.
Don't.
No, I used to, okay, my old apartment, nasty, crazy. They like did like the Predator XL, bombed the place, and they were like sweeping cockroaches. Oh my God.
Can we go back to your life expectancy? Because I feel like that's cut off a couple of decades.
Just by the sight of it. Yeah. Anyhow, my neighbor upstairs, she was like, does your guy's dog, does he like scratch on the wall? And I was like, no. And then I came home, that was like 2 weeks ago. She asked me out, and then I came home, and there was like these like cat traps. And there was a squirrel in this cat trap. And I got home at like 5:30, and then it was like 9, and I went back and checked, and it was like 40 fucking degrees. And there was a squirrel in there for like 6 hours. And I was like, I can't imagine that you're trying to catch a squirrel. I'm going to be the liberal that I am and let this son of a bitch go, because what the fuck are y'all doing? So I did. And then my neighbor was like, yeah, so squirrels live in the wall. And they were trying to trap them to relocate them. And you let him go. And I was like, oh.
Maybe this was the warning shot that the squirrel needed. Like, listen, you were in prison. It was an overnight jail stay. Sober up and go home.
Go anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. It was like, ooh, please don't be mad at me.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you let him go. Good job.
Yeah.
You saved a life. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
They got him again.
And you know what? If he comes back, let him scratch at our wall. It's fine.
Well, there's like a hole in the wall. And like, instead of fixing the hole. They're like, we're going to catch the squirrel. And I'm like, you could literally do that forever. You could just have a new squirrel every month.
I mean, that is going to be like the Underground Railroad for squirrels until you close it up. So even if that squirrel goes, there's going to be another squirrel or a mouse or something that's going to find it and be like,
exactly,
this is mine now. This is my tunnel.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Anyway, that is nuts. I mean, I'm glad you let him go though, because he was probably cold. He probably needed to go home.
And I was like, you guys are going to leave a squirrel in there, freezing temperature? No, fuck that.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that bad.
I'm sure his metaphorical cage was rattled. He probably will come back to this place. Yeah. Because he's nervous that this is going to happen again. I mean, who knows? Maybe so. He won't, but whatever. Worst case scenario, you got a squirrel again. Yeah, not a big deal. Okay. So, man, where did we go? I'm reading emoticons and I'm like, okay, squirrel.
How does this tie in at all?
No, it was good. So, okay, laughter creates bonds like us, boo-boo, and increases intimacy with others. By practicing a little laughter each day, you can enhance social skills that may not come naturally to you. So if you're an introvert or you're really shy, laugh at people's jokes, make people laugh. It will help. When you laugh in response to humor, you share your feelings with others and learn from risks that your response will be accepted, shared, enjoyed by others, and not be rejected, ignored, and disliked. So, have you ever tried to make a joke? I mean, I think we all have, but have you ever tried to just say something funny? Not even just a big joke, just something funny, particularly in the workplace, and it just bombs?
No, but I did yesterday, and it wasn't at work. But yes, of course, at work too. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I mean, not even just at work, but at work, it's just you're still kind of navigating so many different personality types because the thing in common that you have is the paycheck, not like your circles of friends.
Right. Not
so you don't all vibe with each other.
Right. Yeah.
It's the worst feeling when it just bombs. It's like, okay, moving on as quickly as possible. What happened last night that made that happen? It's
almost daily
Not
for
me.
me.
You relive it, but relive it.
Yeah, let's just go back. Let's unpack it. I swear to God, it's probably a daily thing for me. Like, I say something that I'm like, ooh, that was a little too far. Or, ooh, that was, oh yeah.
I disagree. I mean, not ever in my company, sir, but whatever.
Daily.
I mean, people don't always get it. It's fine. Me too. We have that in common.
Yeah. Well, and like, I'm like, shoot your shot, girl. And like, if your shot goes too far, then be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That happened a couple weeks ago. I was with some friends and I'm not going to get into it. It was bad. It's
still wrong.
It was wrong.
Talk about it.
But it was a joke. It was totally a joke. And I fucked up and the joke didn't land. Yeah. And I was like, okay, listen, like, you know that I'm not, like, I don't actually think that. I'm really sorry. Which, like, we're all, girl, it's dirt.
I've had it happen too, where it not only doesn't land, like they get really pissed, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. To do that. Obviously, I'm horrified of confrontation. Yeah, why would I do this on purpose?
Why would I literally beg for it right here by telling this joke?
No. Yeah. Oh my God. But no, it's fine. I mean, and you learn and you get better, and then the more important thing is you learn who your people are. I think. I mean, I really can't emphasize that enough. Like, you learn who your people are, you learn more importantly who your people are not, and then you can vibe. And once you do the tap dance and you figured out that the other person is just as fucked up as you are, yes, then we can have a lot of fun and we can say whatever we want. Right. It feels just a lot more free than having to tiptoe and try to experiment.
Right. Find your tribe, boo. Find your tribe.
Yes. Good. Okay, well, I'm glad. So I'm just going to end this now with just super easy fun facts. And that's it. Just a couple. Number 10. So studies have shown that people are more likely to laugh in response to a video clip with canned laughter than to one without a laugh track.
That's bizarre.
And that people are 30 times more likely to laugh in the presence of others than alone. So suggestibility is this point. So if canned laughter, that just means like somebody is trying to fight laughter, like they're trying to hold a straight face. That's why bloopers, I think, do so well. We watch bloopers and we're like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Yes.
This is so funny.
Breaking character.
And I mean, a laugh track, I never understood the laugh track. Maybe I'm not the right generation for it, but I never understood it. I always thought it was so fake and like just a truly like a press play situation.
I think I fucked that up in my interpretation of what you just said.
Tell me.
Okay, so you said, oh my God, the spider's back on my blinds. You said, people are more likely to react to canned laughter as opposed to laugh track.
It says, no, not quite. It says people are more likely to laugh in response to a video clip with canned laughter over one without a laugh track.
Okay.
So I think what they're saying is it goes canned laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is canned laughter a laugh track? That's not the same thing, is it?
No, I think that you're right. I took them to mean, I took them as synonymous, but I think what you're saying is right. Like canned, like.
I think you might be right. What is canned laughter? Oh, it is a soundtrack.
No way.
It's a laugh track.
It's a laugh track.
Okay, I totally misinterpreted that. I'm glad you called me out on that because I misinterpreted that. Okay. Sorry. So, rephrase. It says people are more likely to laugh at a laugh track than without a laugh track. And people are 30 times more likely to laugh in the presence of others than alone. So it supports that idea. I hate laugh tracks. I love the awkward silences, like The Office.
Right.
And What We Do in the Shadows. Documentaries.
Right. And
Best in Show is another one.
Best in Show is fantastic.
It's fan-fucking-tastic, isn't it? It is a masterpiece.
Jennifer Coolidge is a gay icon, and like she's like gaining in power every passing day.
As she should.
As she
absorb the light
should.
And become stronger.
Absolutely.
You got it.
So, follow her on Instagram. Her Instagram is hysterical. She's just like,
I am excited.
Tripping over thresholds drunk. And she's like, I was talking to the assistant at Saks and then like falls over. And she's perfect. She's perfect.
I listen on TikTok to there's like a guy that does an impression
of her. Yes.
And he sounds exactly like her.
Just like her. And Ariana.
I want a hot dog real bad.
Real bad. Yeah. I'm taking the dog, dumbass. I'm not good at it, but I love her.
Thank you, God. That's the best. Okay. Yes. So yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for cleaning that up because like, that would have been incorrect. I hate laugh tracks, so I get the idea that if like the guy next to you is laughing really hard, that you're going to be laughing really hard. Right. But I just always heard it as a fake like soundtrack, like on Full House and all that stuff. Like growing up, I was like, ugh.
Seinfeld.
Anyway.
But I'm now into Seinfeld, so now I'm like kind of into it. But overall not a laugh track fan.
But like it might have even been to like a sign of the times because like you've got Larry David, who was like the owner of Seinfeld or whatever, the writer or whatever, and the laugh track was there because it was the 90s and that's what you did. Like I don't know that there was a show on television that didn't have it that was a comedy.
Right. It's like sitcom. Anything Roseanne had it.
That's right.
Friends had it. Reba. God. Do you remember that shit? My best friend's dad growing up watched that shit. It would poke my eyes out. I hated that shit.
The Nanny, too, I watched. And I would listen to Fran Drescher. It was very loud. I'd have to turn the volume down. It was so much. Anyway. Okay. So... Next fun fact, laughter can be a universal language. Samples of laughter were collected in a study from pairs of English-speaking college students. Some of them were friends, these two people that they were recording their laughter, and some separate twos were strangers. They recorded it in the University of California, whatever. And then there was a team that was made up of more than 30 scientists, anthropologists, biologists, whatever. And then they played these audio snippets of this laughter to 966 listeners from 24 diverse societies spanning 6 continents, from indigenous tribes in New Guinea to urban working class people in large cities in India and Europe. So English speaking bros, I assume. I don't know. Maybe they were girls too. I don't know. And some were friends, some were strangers. They took those audio clips of them laughing with each other. And then they had all these people speaking all different languages and all different walks of life, whatever. Like listen to these soundtracks. And then participants were asked whether they thought the two people laughing were friends or strangers.
No way. Cool. Could they figure it out?
So on average, the results were remarkably consistent across all 24 cultures. The majority of people thought that the relationship between the laughers were correct the majority of the time.
Wow.
So they just understood, even though they didn't speak English, they understand
right.
They hear the connection.
The connection.
Or they hear that there isn't a connection.
That's fucking powerful.
Because it's about how vulnerable and whatever you want to be. Right?
Wow.
Okay. So when you're laughing in a group, just laugh really fucking hard at somebody. Especially us.
I'm so connected right now. Yeah.
I feel so connected to you right now. Researchers have also found that different types of laughter can serve as codes to complex human social hierarchies. Across the course of 2 experiments, there was a team of scientists, and they found that high status individuals had different laughs than low status individuals. And that strangers' judgments of an individual's social status were influenced by the dominant or submissive quality of the person's laughter. So, like, I'm guessing this means that if you have a dominant laugh, then you're more likely to be assumed to have a high status level. Unless you're a woman, then I assume it's fucking upside down.
Yeah,
If you laugh quietly and don't talk, then you're probably very wealthy. Just shop it out. Just shop it out and drink it out. Just don't talk or laugh or eat.
Share your opinions or, right.
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
I hate that.
How do you guess my social status?
I imagine it has something to do with, like, I'm thinking of, like, an egotistical laugh, like a...
Yeah, like I own the room. It's like how people sit, like the men sit dominantly or whatever.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's like the laugh equivalent of that, maybe?
Yeah. No, yeah.
I don't know.
Eat the fucking rich, though. That's all I have to say. Eat the fucking rich. And if you're rich and you're listening to this podcast, I'm fucking hungry, so...
Laugh like you're rich and then catfish that bitch. Just make them think that you're affluent and then make them fall in love with you. And then be like, ha, joke's on you.
Right. Can I have half? Thank you so much.
That's right.
Thank you.
So okay, that's it. I'm just gonna leave you with a joke, which is I think terrible. I think it's like not terrible in like a good way. I think terrible in like that's not funny way.
Okay.
But according to scientists, it's statistically the funniest joke in the world. Okay? It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
Especially for your sense of humor. But like, let me just say it's too tame for my sense of humor.
Okay.
So if that's where we are, then you're going to be like, I fell asleep. What did you say? I didn't hear how you finished the joke. Here we go. Scientists, I don't know, did a study or something, and they said, or something.
I don't know how you do this. Yeah.
We're intellectuals here. And, okay. They said that this is at least like the template of the best statistically successful joke. There were 2 hunters from New Jersey out in the woods when one of them collapses. He doesn't seem to be breathing. The other guy calls 911. He says, I think my friend's dead. What do I do? The operator says, don't worry. I can definitely help you. But first, make sure he's dead. There's silence and then a gunshot on the other end of the phone. And then
that's kind of funny.
The guy says, okay, now what?
The Aristocrats. I love that. I was expecting it to be awful. And like it is, but it's not a woman sitting in a lap farting awful.
I mean, okay, yeah, that's fair. I just think that there must have been a lot of like white middle-aged dads in that study. Like it was a dad joke. Like
definitely.
Like, it's a singer.
Okay, now what? Yeah.
Anyway, thank you and good night.
I love
That's
it.
it. That's all I have.
Excellent. Wonderful. So much fun.
So, okay. Well, that was our episode. Sorry for all the like dad jokes, but hopefully you learned a little something, and hopefully you laughed a little bit along the way.
That's right, honey.
So message us. You got interesting thoughts. You got ideas. Even if we screw something up and you know better, send that to us. amateurintellectuals@gmail.com. And we've got a Facebook page. We're dialing back a little on the other socials because like we're busy and we work full time. But come back at us. Come on Facebook. What's that face? What's that for?
I made the face and then I was like, don't say it. It's too late.
Now you have to.
Now we're here.
We're here.
I deleted Facebook off my phone and like follow us, like add us on Facebook. But it's the most like, it just feels so good. And it's just like,
really?
yeah.
It's got to be such a healthy choice.
I have it on my desktop. I have it on my laptop. So I still have access and I still see it a lot. But just like not on my phone where like when I wake up, I check it and watch like my uncle post some crazy QAnon, bullshit.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
That's actually a really healthy choice. I feel like you just took a really good step in a good direction.
It's been weeks and
just
it feels so good. So good. Highly recommend.
I go on Facebook.
But do.
I know that's good advice. Like I go on Facebook way too much. And when I do it is either for the amateur intellectual stuff or I go because I'm not tired or I'm in a situation where I can't make inappropriate noise like a TikTok or because I've got little in the ear, like in my ear space.
Right.
And I'm like, I gotta do something to like decompress or whatever. So then I tend to go to Facebook. Like I don't even go to Instagram that much anymore. I don't ever look at Snapchat anymore. Like TikTok is my jam. I love TikTok. Yeah. It's addictive. It is the Russian roulette of social media. I love it so much. Yeah. But I can't because, I'll show her something about like an animal doing something goofy or whatever. And then the next one's like, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Like, never mind what that person was saying. It's nothing that you need to concern yourself with. So yeah, I go to Facebook too much. And you're right. I do it first thing in the morning too. And it sucks. I don't like it.
It sucks.
I should quit. I should quit Facebook. I should quit cold turkey.
It's,
you need to sneeze.
I do,
baby.
girl.
Do it.
For like 5 minutes. It's
Don't
been
hold
like
her in. Just let her. Just let her fly.
I'm not crying. If you're watching, it looks like I'm crying. I'm not upset.
He misses Facebook. That's what it was.
Right. It's just so snowflake. I'm so triggered.
I can't. I want it back.
Well, thank you so much, my love. That was fabulous. It was a good time. Learned that the first joke, which I'm not going to concede. I'm just not going to concede it. I'm just going to say that they existed and we're going to find
Think about
them.
all the good jokes that are lost to history. Think about all the golden jokes that would hold today. Hold firm today because they're just a fundamental human truth. Hilarious. And we'll never know them because nobody wrote it down.
We're going to find some. Me and you.
Or we're going to invent it for ages to come, arrogant Caitlin. But we're going to do it. Let's write it down and carve it in a cave somewhere.
What is that? I was thinking of the cave paintings. Whenever you mentioned that, I was like, oh, like the cave paintings. I bet they found a joke in there. And I'm like, no, idiot. That was no.
I didn't. Now, listen, they could have. And I kind of hope that they made like a little comic strip somewhere.
That'd be cute.
There was no Neanderthal or whatever that was funny.
You can't tell me that.
That didn't cope with his own stress about being eaten by a lion or whatever.
Right.
Or like his, family dying or whatever from the elements. He didn't cope with humor.
No.
You're telling me that?
He was just miserable.
I don't believe it.
Forever.
Yeah. He's just a, grunting, unhappy person. I don't buy it.
No. We're going to find it. We're going to find it.
We're the cream of the crop, babe. We nailed it.
This is it.
Okay, everybody. Thank you. Thanks. Tune in next week.
Bye.
Bye.